I was raised to believe people should treat each other right, but a lot of the times they don't. Why won't you take care of your customer?
What part of your job's done didn't you understand?
Well, see, because you don't tell me my job's done.
You're not a real taxi. Can you tell us who you're with?
They'll lie, cheat, and steal from you. Sir, we'd like to talk to you about possible prosecution for selling a stolen car. They think nobody cares.
Okay, turn the camera off right now.
I care, and that's why TrustDALE investigates. For many Americans, buying their house is their single biggest investment, and selling one provides their largest liquid asset, which these days can make unsuspecting homeowners the target of unscrupulous buyers.
I've lived here for 3 years,
Uh-huh.
and my husband, well, boyfriend at the time, proposed to me in the backyard.
Nice.
Just our family home.
Rebecca Sutton lives in this modest bungalow in an Orlando suburb.
That bamboo we planted when we first moved in, so that's my pride and joy.
After setting down roots here, she was surprised when a Tampa-based real estate investment company launched an aggressive campaign to purchase her home.
It started with a neon-colored postcard, and they said that they were interested in purchasing my home. I've received letters from like that from the past, so I threw it away.
With their letters unanswered, the company, Ace Home Offer, started calling.
One of the times that I've answered the phone calls for one of these businesses, I asked them how they got my information, and they did just a general property search on the property appraiser's website, which is public information, and that's fair game, I guess.
But what she didn't guess is that they'd get a lot more personal.
And then it graduated to one phone call that freaked me out, where he said that he had walked my property, and I'm not comfortable with people who I don't know walking around my property.
But pushing personal boundaries is what critics say the wholesale real estate business is all about.
This is hundreds of thousands of dollars you could be speaking of, and they're just hoping that you won't know that you're being tricked.
Ariane McClure is a real estate attorney. She says the cash for homes tactic has been around for decades, but today's technology is opening the market to more manipulative tactics.
You can now look up on Google Maps someone's home. You can pull up their tax records. You can pull up who lives in that home, how old those people are, what their jobs are. They can even pull up if you've lost a job. So they see you've lost a job, you may be desperate for cash. That's a good opportunity for them to come in and offer you a lowball offer.
Colonial Town North, here in Orlando, could serve as the postcard community for the business of wholesale real estate. It's a beautiful yet transitioning neighborhood where many of its residents likely haven't priced their home in decades.
And what they're doing is they're offering you all cash, thinking that's going to be something desirable to you. But what they're not telling you is that you may not be getting full value for your home.
And in an economy experiencing a housing crisis, amateur investors like this guy
What's up, guys? Rafael Vargas here, over here at my headquarters, the Real Step headquarters.
are wanting to get rich quick and are eager to cash in on others' hardships.
It's immoral, it's unethical, it's unconscionable. You're preying on people who are susceptible to being victimized.
Still to come on TrustDALE Investigates. Hear what happens when the same pseudo-investors unintentionally target our investigative producer.
And it's the corner one, the nice green-looking one, right?
That's the one.
And see how they react. Mr. Vargas.
Hey.
Dale Cardwell with Inside Investigations. How are you, sir?
Good.
We'd like to talk to you about your business. And up next,
The chair was supposed to be $800. He sent me a cashier's check for $2,400.
a worldwide counterfeit check con that's costing Americans millions. We'll tell you what to watch for. And later, how much is that doggy in the window?
It's like a lease-to-own option.
What does that mean?
So pretty much you'll be paying monthly on the puppy
Yeah.
until it's completely paid off.
Our investigative team goes undercover to reveal why buying a puppy can be a lot more than you bargained for.
We know there's a lot of other cleaning companies to choose from.
Not for me. I've tried those other guys. They just don't clean my home as good as these guys do. They even moved my furniture, so my entire room gets clean.
Our equipment cleans like no one else's, and our cleaning solution meets rigorous EPA Safer Choice standards with no harmful residue left behind.
That's why I call.
Call or visit StanleySteamer.com for local specials.
Call 1-800-STEAMER. Stanley Steamer, your certified cleaner.
It's impossible to overstate how important clean water is to your daily life. You drink, wash, and bathe in it. But sometimes it's not clear if your water is healthy or not. That's why Pure Life Water makes it as simple as possible to find out. Just schedule a free water test. Yes, free. A quick and easy screening can help you decide what direction you want to go to ensure clean, safe water throughout your home. Call Pure Life Water to schedule your free water test today.
If you have a juicy deal on the line or a 5K deal on the line, this is how we get them juicier.
You better pay attention because these millennials and many more like them are trying to manipulate you into selling your home for way less than it's worth. But first, the ripoff range is a segment of the economy where consumers are defrauded of $500 up to $50,000 in a transaction. You think of it as a crime, but law enforcement more often sees it as a business dispute to be settled in civil court. One area of the economy ripe for the ripoff range is online shopping. It's replacing walk-up storefronts and curbside garage sales. And while commerce via a computer or phone screen is convenient, buying and selling without seeing who you're doing business with is making it easier for con artists to take advantage. Kim Crawford is a small business owner in California. Like many entrepreneurs, a computer and a smartphone are her primary connections to customers.
We sell most of our products on eBay, but then we sell also some on Craigslist.
One of those products is this club chair.
Someone was interested in it and they sent me a text. And right off the bat, it just seemed a little bit fishy because I said, is it possible that we can talk in person? And the person didn't want to do that.
Instead, the buyer said he would FedEx a certified cashier's check for the item.
The chair was supposed to be $800. He sent me a cashier's check for $2,400. So I sent a text back saying, is this the correct amount? And he said, give the mover $1,600. He's going to be also moving some of my daughter's stuff.
And then the buyer texted her specific instructions on how to deposit the check.
My bank advises you deposit the check and not cash it.
But instead of depositing it, Kim brought it to her bank to see if it was legit.
They knew immediately it was a scam.
This is really a huge fraud.
Better Business Bureau investigator Steve Baker says tens of thousands of Americans are victims of counterfeit check schemes every year. He explains it's because many people don't understand how our banking system works.
When people get the check, they deposit it into their checking account, and under federal banking regulations, the bank has to credit that money to their account within a day or two. Well, people think that means the money's credited to the account, that the check is good. But it's not. It can take a couple weeks for the check to work its way through the system for people to realize that it's actually counterfeit.
And this scheme stretches across the United States. You see, this counterfeit crook who struck in California also sent a fake check to a consumer here in Missouri. That check was printed with the legitimate name of a company based in Minnesota.
The crooks steal checks from legitimate businesses, sometimes out of the mail. Photoshop them so they look very real. They're not handwritten checks or personal checks, they're business checks, so they look very legitimate. The story sounds often very plausible.
Plausible, yes, but Kim says there were several signs that something wasn't right.
There were many red flags all along. I won't speak to you on the phone was a red flag. I'm going to send you a check for more than what you want for the chair. That was a red flag. It just seemed very fishy.
She didn't take the bait, but many people do. The FTC says it's seen a 65% increase in counterfeit check fraud occurrence in the last 5 years, with consumers and small business owners like Kim averaging a loss of nearly $2,000 on fake checks alone.
These are big, organized business enterprises that have specialized functions and outsource some of the work and are organized on a worldwide scale.
Although the only thing Kim lost was time, the lesson she learned was invaluable.
What I learned was anytime it doesn't seem right, it probably isn't. It probably is a scam.
Just ahead.
This is very disrespectful. This is very disrespectful. You're coming at me, you're recording videos. This is disrespectful.
The people that you solicit without their permission are very happy that we're talking to you now.
Okay.
We're exposing this slick investor scheme to short sell you on your property. And later, don't let this happen to you.
I feel like I'm being attacked. I'm under fire.
Find out how TrustDALE helps out when a bank blames their own customer for their lack of security.
It's impossible to overstate how important clean water is to your daily life. You drink, wash, and bathe in it. But sometimes it's not clear if your water is healthy or not. That's why Pure Life Water makes it as simple as possible to find out. Just schedule a free water test. Yes, free. A quick and easy screening can help you decide what direction you want to go to ensure clean, safe water throughout your home. Call Pure Life Water to schedule your free water test today.
We know there's a lot of other cleaning companies to choose from.
Not for me. I've tried those other guys. They just don't clean my home as good as these guys do. They even moved my furniture, so my entire room gets clean.
Our equipment cleans like no one else's, and our cleaning solution meets rigorous EPA safer choice standards with no harmful residue left behind.
That's why I call.
Call or visit StanleySteamer.com for local specials.
Call 1-800-STEAMER. Stanley Steamer, your certified cleaner.
Welcome back to TrustDALE Investigates. As you've seen from our previous segment, wholesale real estate investors are a lot like fishermen waiting on a catch. It can take a lot of time, but if patient, a lunker may land on the hook. Well, the people at Ace Home Offer, also known as the Real Step Group, casts a wide net across many states, angling to lure unsuspecting and uninformed homeowners with cash. But on one particular trolley trip you're about to see, instead of reeling in a deal, they landed a shark.
Hey, this is Alex following up with you from the offer I sent you in the mail last week for your property. I think I actually have some really good numbers I'd love to talk with you about in regards to the property. So if you could, can you give me a call? Again, this is Alex.
That message was left on our senior investigative producer, Marnie's, cell phone. Since it sounded a bit, well, fishy, she called Alex back with cameras rolling.
Hi, is Alex there?
Oh, yes. Did he give you a call about a property you want to sell, ma'am?
Yes, he did.
Okay. Well, now's a good time. I'm the one that can actually get you the offer for it. You have a few minutes to go through my process. I just need to get an idea on the condition.
Okay, well, he had said that he had sent me something in the mail.
Okay, yeah. He typically will just send out postcards saying, we're buying in the neighborhood, reaching out. So if you want to get an offer, I'm the one that could do so. I can do this over the phone. I just need to get an idea on the condition, see if we're a good fit, and if I can make you an offer.
Over the next 15 minutes, Justin looked up Marnie's home on Google Maps.
And it's the corner one, the nice green-looking one, right?
That's the one.
Pulled her tax records.
And I'm just pulling up the tax records right now. Could you just confirm how many total bedrooms and bathrooms?
Asked questions about the condition of her property.
Have you done any updates to it recently, like new bathrooms, kitchens, floors? I mean, what is that like?
It was as if he was working from a script, written, as you'll see, with manipulation in mind.
Once you get the address, on our Podio, you have the Google view. Right off the bat, we name a nearby landmark. And what's so powerful about it, because they're going to know you're the expert in the area just by you naming a nearby landmark.
This is an actual video posted on YouTube by Ace Home Offer, also known as the Real Step Group, on how to sway homeowners with deceptive sales techniques.
You always want to make sure you go back to exactly where the script is and follow the bullet points. That way you can close the deal.
Right down to the purpose of the call, to make a profit off your home by buying it at way below fair market value.
No matter what they tell you, if it's a good number or a bad number, you always hesitate. Right. Remember, you don't want to sound like you need the deal. Because if you make it too easy for the homeowner, they're like, that was too easy. Can I get a higher price somewhere else?
I mean, anytime anybody is selling their largest investment, and they don't have any time to truly hash it out and figure out what it's worth with anyone else, and someone's really pushing you to do that, then it's trickery.
Trickery that's not getting past community business watchdogs.
ACE currently has an F rating with the Better Business Bureau due to 2 unanswered complaints and 1 complaint that went unresolved.
Though those complaints were logged against their marketing methods, Bryan Oglesby of the West Florida Better Business Bureau wants consumers to know how to deal with the heavy-handed practices companies like ACE use.
As consumers, we should never feel pressured to give up any information on the spot or make any decisions whether a company call you, text you, or visit you at the door. Do your homework and do your research. Check those companies out. Contact a licensed realtor, contact an appraiser, understand the true value of your home so you can make an informed decision as a consumer and make that right decision.
After that initial phone call with our producer, the so-called investor called back several times to try to close the deal, reassuring Marnie that his offer was fair. But what he didn't know is that her home was appraised earlier in the year for $300,000 more than his highest bid. Justin, you solicited Marnie. You guys contacted her, and the best offer was $425,000. And anyone that does any research would see that that's a below-market offer. How do you feel about that?
I mean, sir, again, it's an investment company. Do you know how that stuff works?
Very well, very much so.
We make offers in order to make money. If that price works for the seller, that's up to them.
Yeah, your boss, Rafael Vargas, teaches this course online, and he basically is pretty proud of the fact that he can teach people how to trick people out of selling a home for far below market value.
How are we, sir? This is pretty ridiculous. We're not tricking anybody. We make offers. If that offer works for a seller, then we buy the house. It's pretty straightforward.
It's true, there's nothing illegal about ACE's practices, but the business model is built on taking advantage of people who have no idea what their property is worth. So, based on what experts tell us, it is a patently unfair practice. We felt Rebecca and other homeowners needed some straightforward answers from the man in charge. Mr. Vargas, hey. Dale Cardwell with Inside Investigations. How are you, sir?
Good.
We'd like to talk to you about your business.
About what?
About ACE and Real Step.
Okay.
And how you pressure people to sell their homes to you.
Definitely don't pressure people to sell anything. This is very disrespectful. This is very disrespectful. You're coming at me, you're recording videos. This is disrespectful.
The people that you solicit without their permission are very happy that we're talking to you now.
So I'm very confused. Where is this coming from? Why
it's
are
coming
you guys,
from the people that you solicit without their permission. You offer prices far below market value.
We, just like every investor, a lot of investors, there's investors literally nationwide. This is what we do.
Rafael, it appears as though you pride yourself on teaching people how to use quickness, landmarks, manipulation.
Definitely not manipulation.
In the conversation.
Absolutely
to
not.
talk people into
not
selling
manipulating
your home.
anybody. First of all, people make their own rights and their own decisions to selling their property. That's it. They make their own decisions. You guys have a good day. This is ridiculous.
But it's Rebecca who's now the one having a good day.
I wanted it out there that Ace Home Offer is trying to swindle people. I wanted it to be known, and I wanted it to be on somebody's radar. And I'm glad that he messed with me so that I could have at least put a stop to it, or hopefully make him think the next time he goes after somebody.
Coming up, this can happen to you.
And $3,200 had disappeared out of my account. So I immediately called the bank. I called them, they said they weren't gonna put it back, and I asked them why. And they said, because of your spending habits.
Passing the buck. When a bank blames its own customer for a security hack, TrustDALE takes them on. That's next on TrustDALE Investigates.
It's impossible to overstate how important clean water is to your daily life. You drink, wash, and bathe in it. But sometimes it's not clear if your water is healthy or not. That's why Pure Life Water makes it as simple as possible to find out. Just schedule a free water test. Yes, free. A quick and easy screening can help you decide what direction you want to go to ensure clean, safe water throughout your home. Call Pure Life Water to schedule your free water test today.
We know there's a lot of other cleaning companies to choose from.
Not for me. I've tried those other guys. They just don't clean my home as good as these guys do. They even moved my furniture, so my entire room gets clean.
Our equipment cleans like no one else's, and our cleaning solution meets rigorous EPA Safer Choice standards with no harmful residue left behind.
That's why I call.
Call or visit StanleySteamer.com for local specials.
Call 1-800-STEAMER. Stanley Steamer, your certified cleaner.
Welcome back to TrustDALE Investigates. Jacqueline Hood is a 30-year loyal customer of a major local bank. So when she noticed suspicious activity on her account, she notified her bank right away. But instead of backing her up, they blamed her for the loss. Watch, because this could happen to you.
I feel like I'm being attacked. I'm under fire.
Jacqueline Hood is fighting a battle, which began when she noticed several $1,000s missing from her checking account.
And $3,200 had disappeared out of my account. So I immediately called the bank, and they said it was Cash App.
Knowing she hadn't used the money transfer service recently, she asked her bank to restore the funds. They refused, saying her spending habits were suspect.
And I'm like, what does my spending habits have to do with my money? It's my money. I can spend it the way I want to.
She appealed their decision, providing proof that some of her other online accounts had also been hacked, but her bank wouldn't budge.
They said that they were not going to give my money back, and if I had any bounce checks or anything like that, that I am responsible because they were not going to replace it. I've been with you 31 years, and this is how you treat me. I've been loyal, and you have no loyalty to me. So my pastor, we just prayed and all that together. And the next day you called.
Our TrustDALE team called the bank on Jacqueline's behalf, explaining her situation and passing along documentation to substantiate her claim. Only then did they have a change of heart.
But then I reached out to them after I spoke to you, and I said, I'm still trying to find out, are y'all gonna get my money back? And the guy said, oh, it's been, they decided to go in your favor, and the money should be in your account by Friday morning. So I think that TrustDALE was the reason why.
Lesson learned? Check online accounts frequently to make certain there aren't any suspicious charges. If there are, dispute them immediately and be prepared to provide documentation to support your claim, because this could happen to you. Still to come, a puppy buying ploy that's putting some dog lovers in the financial doghouse.
And what really got me is like when I finally started really looking at the contract, even after I pay off that $6,000, I still wouldn't own him. I have to pay another $500.
We go undercover to expose a local pet buying scheme. I'm consumer investigator Dale Cardwell, and this is Consumer News We Can Use. Everyone knows the basics on how to keep safe during the age of corona. Wash your hands, wear a mask, and social distance. While COVID-19 is a real threat, fear of the virus is making many people vulnerable to scammers. The Federal Trade Commission reports Americans have already lost more than $13 million to coronavirus-related scams. The cons involve people who say they can get you money from the government, and they're using the same old tricks other scammers use, like spam emails, robocalls, and wire transfers. Those are clearly red flags. Coronavirus scammers are also taking orders for important things, like face masks and other protective gear they never intend to deliver. So here's the new twist in these ripoffs. Some of these scams do more than just take your money. They could jeopardize your health. The Federal Trade Commission and the Food and Drug Administration are warning companies to stop promoting bogus coronavirus cures. Your best defense against coronavirus scammers is to be skeptical. Don't wire money to anyone you don't know. Hang up on the robocalls. Delete the spam emails. And don't take any health advice or cure from anyone other than a trusted medical professional.
Don't let this happen to you. Find investigated and certified companies at TrustDALE.com, all backed by the $10,000 Make It Right guarantee.
Welcome back to TrustDALE Investigates. It's predatory lending in a place where you wouldn't expect it. Instead of buying a new puppy, one dog owner ended up paying a much larger price for man's best friend. Bryan DRYSDALE loves his Shih Tzu puppy, Gizmo. He came into his life after a heartbreaking situation.
My girlfriend and I had a miscarriage. And we didn't really have time to process anything.
They decided to get Gizmo from the pet store. Price tag, just shy of $2,500.
But they had little signs everywhere that said they had financing.
Bryan applied and was approved in store, electronically, and left with Gizmo. But he got a surprise when the first payment was due.
And then that's when I noticed that it was a lease, basically.
Bryan was leasing Gizmo like a new car, or as the contract describes Gizmo, the product. The lease company could even repossess his puppy if he didn't pay. Total price, with fees and interest, more than $6,200.
And what really got me is like when I finally started really looking at the contract, even after I pay off that $6,000, I still wouldn't own him. I have to pay another $500.
Bryan's mom couldn't believe it either and offered to help.
I thought, none of us would fall for that. Well, I guess it's easy to fall for when stuff's going on.
We sent 2 of our producers into the store with a hidden camera. They found cute puppies for sale and signs advertising financing through third-party companies.
It's like a lease-to-own option.
What does that mean?
So pretty much you'll be paying monthly on the puppy.
Yeah.
Until it's completely paid off.
That employee doesn't mention you might pay double what the puppy is actually worth, or that you don't own the puppy until you pay the lease and a separate fee. I called the store's manager to get an explanation. You're tricking your customers. You're tricking your customers into believing that they are financing the puppy. We have the evidence.
These people want something for nothing, and I'm just telling them how they can get their puppy at very minimal pricing.
It turns out the store owner didn't know much about the leases her customers were signing, the same lease that calls a living animal a product. The price that they were told they were going to be paying for the puppy was $2,499. They've now discovered that if they want to own the puppy, that it's going to cost them nearly $6,000.
No, that's not true. That is not true.
I'm reading from the contract right now, and it says they'll have to pay an amount equal to 75% of all the remaining lease payments not yet due. In other words, they're going to have to pay the full amount of leasing a puppy over a long term instead of just being able to buy it right then for a reasonable amount of money.
Well, that's not the way I've understood it.
I'm happy to send you a copy of this contract and show you what happens when you try to pay it off early. And then I'm also happy to show you evidence that your employees told us that it was financing and that we could pay it off without a penalty the next month. And if I can show you that, what I would like you to do is to call Credova and find a way to get the DRYSDALEs out of this, and that they only pay the amount of money that they were told the pet puppy cost when they bought it in your store. Can you do that? The problem was solved after that phone call. Bryan got out of his lease and paid the original price for Gizmo. The ASPCA calls pet leasing unethical and deceptive. Plus, it only benefits pet stores and the lenders who team up with them. Better option? Head over to your local shelter where you can adopt a dog for less than $100. If you'd like to see the Undercover video from this story or the entire confrontation with the wholesale real estate investor, go to TrustDALE.com and click on our watch page to see our complete sting. Also on my website, you can order my Consumer Protection Handbook. Don't get scammed, get smart. 7 simple steps to becoming a savvy consumer. Thank you so much for watching today, and we'll see you next time. TrustDALE Investigates.